It's like boom, boom.
Kaboom! Looked out the window and I seen the smoke, so I ran out my house to make sure it wasn't my grandmother, and I see the car on fire.
Danita Mosley's heart stopped when she heard the pops.
I was worried. That's why I told the kids to back up, because I was afraid it was going to blow up.
Her grandmother was safe.
We're in service.
But as the flames grew,
They just kept exploding. It exploded like 3 times.
so did the danger and the crowd.
We saw a lot of smoke, so we ran down here.
A young crowd.
Yeah, it's only one police. But the car is awesome. I don't want to lie. The car is awesome.
It was so big, it got inside that house.
Flames out in about 5 minutes.
Somebody said that somebody parked the car in there and ran.
I just hope it's not a body in there.
A vacant home.
You never know, especially around here.
A vacant car.
I would have burnt down the entire block.
Crews say it appears intentional.
In one of the worst parts of the city.
But even destruction can bring hope.
I like the cops more better. I don't know, I might be a firefighter or I might be a cop.
Perfect. In Park Heights, Joy Lambert, Fox 45 News.
Welcome to a new waterfall. I won't drink it, but it's water.
It looked like a water main break from right here, but it's been going on all day.
Look at it coming out. That's not water. That's sewage line.
It looks like a river out front of our house. We just moved down here. It's raw sewage, and this is what we have to expect every time it rains heavy.
2 nights ago, this happened for about 5 hours.
This is the second time it happened this week.
That's crazy. That's some nasty water, too. Look at it all the way down.
You got to worry about it getting in your muffler because it's high. It's not like just a little stream. This is like a river going down the middle of Wilkins Avenue.
There's a lot of refuse in the water.
That's disgusting. There's toilet paper on the sidewalk.
The smell is bad.
It is pretty funky.
It's really nasty. You got to close your windows at night.
It smells like human feces for the last 2 weeks.
I thought my dog made a bowel movement in the house. I looked around the house and I had seen this and I found out what it was. I can't take her out to eat because we can't get to the car. It's Mother's Day, so we had to stay in and order pizza.
There was some good that came out of today. It brought us all together. She is unaffected.
Happy Mother's Day, Sheba.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, Baltimore City right here. Trying to clean up.
This needs to be fixed. The city needs to fix it. All this sewage is flowing into Gwynns Falls.
This is the worst it's ever been.
A routine day erupts into chaos as news spreads of a shooting inside Frederick Douglass High School.
The school is on lockdown. Think about all of the shootings that have happened at other schools. There is a protocol. You are going to get your kids.
As parents are panicking outside,
They ain't said nothing.
I came to the school to get my son for an appointment, and they told me the school is on lockdown. I had no idea at all.
What do you know now?
I don't know anything. All I know is they want me to move. That's it. I want my son. That's it.
I'm here, Moocha. I'm not going nowhere, Nari. I'm right here. You stay where you are.
inside, scared students are sheltering in place.
How you have all these police officers and a dude still getting to school with a gun? That's not,
Police say around noon, a 25-year-old tried to enter the school with a gun.
I found out it was an adult. Wasn't even a student.
An adult upset over not being allowed to attend a mediation meeting.
As they encountered each other, the suspect shot our victim.
It's in the vestibule. School police took down the gunman.
The students, all students, are okay.
But it's not until parents see their children.
And I'm happy that I have them. I'm happy that I have them.
That there's a sense of relief.
Ain't nobody really know who was the person who got shot, who was the shooter. It was just crazy.
Good morning, how you guys doing today? Yes, you can take it out.
Their slogans, good stuff, cheap.
It's a good selection back there, isn't it?
We have an dress event. Would you like to check it out?
Not just any dress.
Our wedding dress event?
The dress.
We have formal gowns and wedding dresses for sale for 5 days.
Just past the flooring and in front of rows of industrial carpet.
I got a message from Ollie saying they're having a wedding dress sale. I was like, what? Ollie's?
Paint, spray paint,
some paint to paint a porch, a deck. Yeah, but that's about all. And then they told me about the dresses. So I said I might as well take a glance.
I am just looking for the right one.
Lisa Gayhart.
I just love how this is up here. And then this lace part, and it's off white. It's not like a true white.
Is not shopping alone. She brought with her,
that is so pretty,
a little help.
Yeah, that one is pretty, Mom. I love that.
Thousands of miles away.
My daughter, Amanda, she lives in Michigan, so she's helping me.
Together, in Ollie's. This walk down the aisle.
Oh, Mandy, what did you get me into?
Not quite the aisle she envisioned. To a makeshift dressing room.
And I'm not used to trying on dresses, Amanda, so I don't know what I just don't know about this. Oh, Lord. Oh, one leg's in. Holy moly.
Designer dresses, some $5,000, priced for less than $300.
I love this one. It's pretty.
Searching for a bargain.
First time I've ever had one of these kind on. Are you crying, Mandy?
She found so much more.
Don't make me cry.
So we're going to start reading the names.
Murdered in Baltimore.
And number 1 is Andre Galloway, 16.
Friends.
Darren McCullough, 22.
Chase.
Terrence Scott,
Brian
age
Taylor, 30.
Family members.
D'Amico,
Andrea
Robert
Dominic, Paul Damian, Dowridge, 33.
More than 300 killed in 2018.
The pain is too much. And the worst pain is not getting any justice.
They read the names so everyone remembers, and in hopes of stopping the killing.
A lot of people have got immune to the violence that happened in the city. Sometimes I think they think it's a way of life.
Daphne lost her son.
I hope Tariq knows that I don't let him die. And I want his life to not be in vain.
So did Cynthia.
The person who killed Marcus is still on the streets. It seems like it will be a cold case.
People here say it will take the entire community to stop it.
This is an ongoing problem that we're never going to fix unless everybody gets involved, not the police, not the politicians. We need to get the community involved.
Philip Williams Jr., 51.
Which is why
Anthony Kenny, 69. Dominic Smith, 27.
Kennard Butler,
Eric Staton, 46.
They read the names each year.
Devontae
Anthony Kenny,
Correa Cole,
Muhammad
Gilbert,
Juwan
Quintez Harris.
Dara Henderson, 1 years old.
They hope the names will fuel the residents to break the cycle of violence and finally bring about change.
I know my clients, most of them personally. I mean, they know me.
Front door.
I mean, it is a happy business.
For Chris Pesoris, it took 42 years to build her business.
Weddings and birthdays and anniversaries.
And 11 minutes.
He took her purse and my purse.
To wear her down.
And there was money in it and credit cards and, a lot. I was petrified. I was never so frightened in my life.
As he said, if you walk out of there, we're gonna shoot you.
They're still chilled by the thief who held up their Eager Street flower shop Monday afternoon.
They want it colorful.
Surveillance cameras captured the middle-aged man who looked like a customer, but was really a robber who put a gun to the owner's back.
We both got in.
He pushed us in here.
Then forced the 77-year-old owner and another staffer into a rear closet.
And she was in the back and I was here. And he closed the door. He said, "Don't come out. Don't come out. You'll be sorry if you come out."
We pick him up coming out of the front door.
While they waited, the thief fled with 2 purses and money from the cash drawer.
Empty because of him, yes.
It's the latest in a string of crimes that have recently rocked this historic community.
Oh, it's horrible.
So far this year, the number of reported crimes in Mount Vernon are up 48% from the same time period last year.
And if this continues in Mount Vernon, people are going to move out of Mount Vernon and go somewhere else.
It was scary.
The staff at Flowers by Chris escaped uninjured.
One's right in front of it.
The thief boarded a city bus and hasn't been seen since.
One day, someone innocent will be killed.
They say don't judge a book by its cover. An unassuming storefront with just a hint of what's inside.
It is extremely chaotic for somebody to come in.
This is something new for us, learning how to make armor out of rubber floor tiles.
It's like this marvelous visual garden of obscurity.
We've got Carmen uniforms.
And history.
And a whole lot of boots and pants.
Theater.
We have our big dry cleaning pressing machine.
A.T. Jones & Sons, founded in 1868, is the oldest operating costume company in the country.
I mean, the costume shop is really almost a national treasure. It's amazing.
Just imagine the stories this book could tell.
So what you're looking at is the end result of 150 years of collecting.
A storied past revealed while weaving through row after row.
Things may reach out and grab your feet as you go.
Floor after floor.
You never know what you're going to get.
In a simultaneous breath, history.
Turn of the century ball gowns and dresses.
And fantasy.
I'm making a dragon.
Are given life.
The eyes can sort of blink.
I'm always amazed at how much we can produce with just 6 people.
Binding it all together.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Look at you. Come here. Hello.
Costumes have been George Gobel's life since...
How about 1950? Can you add that one up?
A past as storied as his shop.
To tell you the truth, we had no money when we bought this business. None. And we had to lie to the banker and said we had $30,000.
An Army veteran.
George is a retired magician.
A creator.
He has an extremely creative mind that somehow sees the answers to these problems and then creates them out of whatever's at hand.
At 86 years old.
Everybody thinks I'm dead, you know. So he says, is Mr. George still around?
Ever the careful craftsman, he now sits behind a checkered cloth on the store's first floor.
Nobody else, I don't think, does the work that we do.
Letting no details slip through.
We're the only ones that do. You get it all, from your head to your socks.
Most of the shop's employees.
About 30 years.
I've been here almost 25 years.
About 40.
Never leave.
What else would I do?
Even George
sure.
is having trouble retiring.
I retired, really. I only work 6 days a week. My son works 7 days a week.
But to him, it's never been work.
It's been rewarding. It really has. I think one of the wonderful things about it is the people you meet.
We're close like family. When there's only 6 or 7 of you, you get close pretty fast.
A fearless force in the pursuit of happiness.
9/10 of the people go through life never knowing what they want to do. And at the end of the trail, when they're hit 60 or 69 or 70 or what happened to me, I don't really know. Because I didn't do anything I really liked.
But George did.
You just have to care about people.
Nearly 7 decades later, he still does.
If I were to die today, I think I've had a wonderful life. There's a show called The Wonderful Life, isn't it? Yeah. I think I have.
A rich history that continues to unfold.
But while you're here, you're enjoying it.
In Baltimore, Joy Lambert, Fox 45 News. The night before any big race.
Watch the thumbs.
It's preparation.
There you go.
My favorite number is 12. 7. 12.
Mixed with a few nerves.
I'm scared.
Sisters.
What are you putting on it? A lightning bolt. Why?
May.
Because it's speedy.
And Brooke.
Light pink, light blue, and then I did black again.
Are putting the finishing touches on their Pinewood Derby race cars.
They see me roll. I'll go get it.
Although Brooke and May have competed in the Derby before, this time it's different.
What if they actually put a real mouse on that?
Every girl here
Fast rider, pink spot,
is a pioneer.
It's been a long time coming for the girls.
These girls, this is their first year to be official scouts.
Racer's name, car's name, then we'll give you a number.
Their first official race.
4.9. You're under. Do you want to add more?
With Scouts BSA, formerly known as the Boy Scouts.
Pack 2018's first Pinewood Derby, and they're an all-girls pack. This is the first time my brother's a sibling. Yes, my sister just competed in my Pinewood 2 weeks ago.
This is all about having fun. It doesn't matter who wins and who loses.
about being good sports, right? Displaying good sportsmanship.
Let's have a great pine wood. Let's do it.
This race
All right, on your mark, get
Set, go!
is so much more than just a competition.
130 miles per hour.
That is fast!
Every car, the product
Yes, good job.
of a pioneer.
Go!
All that preparation, all the nerves,
Emma, the universe decides. The universe.
all for a bigger picture. Even if May's car didn't get the blue ribbon, she is a first, joining a room full of trailblazers
To do my duty.
whose journeys
Brave, clean, and reverent.
have only just begun.
Oh, let her go.
Let her go. Yep.
Inside Ryan Fowler's guitar experience in Towson,
Tugs on the heartstrings.
the music speaks.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love them when you let them go.
It can take you back to a place in time that you had forgotten about.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low.
The verses tell Nick Franz's story.
That song was playing on the radio when I was departing the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that song
Same old empty feeling in your heart.
has a string of emotions playing with it.
In the military, you're focused so much on physical and mental, but you really don't get in touch with your emotions. You're just so job-driven and task-driven that you lose that side of yourself.
Now lost in the music,
It makes it much easier to talk about what you need to talk about.
Nick shares more.
I started out in Texas, and then I went to Germany for a couple of years. I was in Qatar. We did human remains transfer. We handled a couple hundred remains going through there. Some pretty big stuff, helicopter crashes, plane crashes, battles. You're seeing people your own age dead in a coffin, and you're like, how do you process that, you know?
It wasn't until 2.5 years ago that Nick realized he needed to process it.
I would be sitting in my couch, and I would just start crying, or I'd get really angry at something, and I was like, okay, I need to see somebody.
That someone is Megan Silva, a music therapist.
Everybody calls it the universal language, but really, where words fail, music speaks.
Megan works with the Warrior Music Foundation, helping active duty military, veterans, and their families cope.
And we just start playing and we have a conversation with the music. And as silly as that sounds, it really kind of takes you to a different place. I'm gonna end on a high note. Get it? Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter.
And those emotions, those coming up are actually a healthy thing. It's kind of like venting it.
Here comes the sun.
The colors. That's not like a bright yellow, that's more of a grain of sand yellow.
Yeah. What about the red?
Help him work through his emotions.
Red is just kind of like highlighting, well, what am I doing with my life right now, and am I making the most of it?
It's the years.
Yep.
So it's, it's interesting that you chose the red color.
Instead of having these peaks and valleys emotionally, now I'm kind of cruising along where I should be, and it's nice.
The memories, however,
Every day, you think about it.
are still there.
You're always looking back and saying, man, that could have been me.
But now he can feel things again.
Just feeling. And feeling is such a huge part of it. And I think for so long, I hadn't felt things like this.
This could be heaven or this could be hell.
This is a way for us as veterans to kind of reconnect with that part of ourselves that we lost all those years.
A way to tune in to who they are now.
You move your finger down a little bit?
I'm a firefighter now. I work at BWI Airport.
And this time, he's on a different mission.
We get to save people.
And note by note, he's saving himself.
It touches the soul.
In Towson, I'm Megan Gilland, Fox 45 News.
A 3-volley salute. And the mournful sound of taps echoed through Baltimore National Cemetery. Those 24 notes. A feeling.
We all experience 2 deaths. The first, when breath leaves our body for the last time.
A sign today that a veteran is being laid to rest.
The second, when our name and our story are told for the last time. It is this second death that we are committed to ensuring never happens with our veterans.
Hundreds filled the cemetery to pay their respects to 74-year-old Army Captain Philip Brown.
U.S. Army Captain, Vietnam War veteran.
We're here to support a fallen veteran.
A man no one there really knew.
Did not have any family.
Nobody should have to be buried without family, especially a veteran.
And no veteran, especially Alan Noger, would ever allow it.
We served together in hard times, and we were there at the beginning, we were there at the end. And it's our way of saying farewell, return to base. It's amazing.
Alan watched the military honors with pride.
50 years ago, we were getting off planes in California, and people throwing eggs at us and whatnot. And here we are.
A moment he thought he'd never see.
A whole different world.
Sitting front row, another moment unfolded for Arthur Simon.
I never expected this.
He's the only man there who knew Brown.
I would meet Phil up at McDonald's in Haverty Grace.
They weren't best friends.
We would just, talk there. Nothing in great detail.
But they did look out for each other. And in the end, it was Arthur who knew something had happened to Philip.
When I saw those Amazon boxes building up on his porch, I thought I ought to alert the police, and it wound up that he had passed.
Philip's military burial flag was presented to Arthur.
Captain Philip Lynn Brown.
I never thought that I'd get a flag for anybody, and so yeah, there's quite a special thing, and as I say, they tucked 2 bullets inside it too.
And with a final salute, strangers quietly watched. Because as it turns out, Philip, a man who served his country with pride.
I was thinking he's got to be up there, smiling from ear to ear, because he was very proud to serve.
Had a whole lot of family, after all.
They said there was no family. He's part of a bigger family.
Maxine Stryker.
So we all show up for that.
Fox 45 News.
Moments like this
Thank you.
come around once in a lifetime.
I made it, class of 2019.
Dream big.
Now you are starting us in alphabetical order. This is a big step for these soon-to-be high school graduates and their families. That's especially true for Larry White.
Which one you want?
Out of the hundreds of families here tonight, perhaps no one will have their patience tested more than Larry's mother, Jamel.
I'm gonna be all over the place.
He will be the last high school senior to step onto stage to get his diploma.
Oh, Lord, it's a relief.
At least one of Larry's teachers shares that same sentiment.
I don't know whether to scream or cry. He's a good kid from a good family.
Who's held down a part-time job to earn money for college and still managed to be an AP student.
He stayed on the path. He didn't take no turns.
All anyone could see was a bright future.
City 911.
Over spring break,
I don't know what's going on.
Larry's future forever changed.
I didn't even believe it happened when it happened.
I don't know. They outside. I'm too nervous. I cannot go to the door.
It was April 18th when a masked gunman approached Larry, who was heading back to a friend's house to pick up his phone charger.
My friend was like, it was calling like, hey, Larry, you good? Somebody just got shot. And that's when, once he said that, I'm re-thinking back like, oh, bro, that was me.
He robbed him and shot him 13 times.
The gunman chased Larry for 3 blocks.
I got shot 3 times in the face, believe 3 times in the back, couple times in my leg, and twice in my groin area.
I don't understand why him. Like, it's just, I hate it. I'm sorry.
You cool, man?
I did everything to keep him from this. and it still found him.
Larry is among the more than 300 people to survive being shot in Baltimore this year.
This right here, a card one of my teachers gave me from school, a couple books from some great leaders throughout history.
This has become Larry's classroom, where he's attempting to complete his graduation requirements.
I can't go straight to the teacher, so it's more of a waiting game. If I need help, I text somebody, they talk to the teacher for me.
At 18 years old, this one-time college-bound student is now struggling to get through his senior year.
At night is when it hit me the most. I wake up, I'm soaking wet in sweat, so I just get up and just chill, nightmares and stuff, so I've been trying, and just enjoy the times I could earlier in the day. Because I know that night time, that's when the trouble comes in.
Even with 8 bullets still in him, Larry's outlook on life remains positive, even toward the person who did this to him.
That's what helped him survive. You gotta be able to look through people's eyes and point of view. Was it right? No, it wasn't right. But it's reality. We can't get them too confused with each other. Hope he can grow.
Police have yet to arrest the person responsible for Larry's injuries.
Let's take a look.
Injuries so serious.
Good, you're opening much better. Can you bite down for me?
They require he see different specialists 2 to 3 times a week.
Try to smile. Show me your teeth.
I can only move half of my face still.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get all this out my jaw.
The titanium in there, it stays. We don't have to take it out. Yeah. We don't. You leave it in there. Do you don't like it?
No.
What?
I want my jaw to go back to how it was supposed to be.
It's going to continue to improve, but it's going to take some time because your jaw was broken into so many little pieces. We had to kind of put it together like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's still going to be a little swollen for a while, basically.
Oh, yeah, for a few months. Yep.
The prognosis is painful for Larry to hear.
He hasn't cried or anything, but today he did. Crush me. But, I still have to stay strong for him.
Despite the news, all that's left now
Yes, that's my name.
is for Larry to receive his diploma.
Not only did Larry do what he said in words, he returned to school.
Yeah,
with his graduation
I do
requirements.
work. I do work.
Good job, baby.
Good job. Congrats, bro. I'm very proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you, bro. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, boy. I'm happy. This is my excited face.
Everybody believed in him as I did, and I'm just thankful.
It's my pleasure.
They just support us through everything. They were there. They were hands-on. When I sat in the hospital, they were there. When I couldn't sleep, they were there. I'm so full, and I'm so proud of him. And I'm so happy.
Could be an hour on a picture. Start playing with the levels, look at the contrast. There's like highlights in her hair here.
It's a battle of light and dark.
What I'm seeing, what I want to see in my head. It's like, it's a process.
And striking that perfect balance.
And I shoot them in color and then I convert them to black and white.
But great photography develops in darkness.
It was a weird thing to ask these people to give more than they've already given. They gave up. They've lost so much.
1 year ago, a deadly attack inside the Capitol Gazette newsroom.
I feel like everyone that has sat has given me a gift of their time and their, being part of my project. But those that gave the most were the families that lost somebody, and then I'm very appreciative of what they've done to be a part of this and to help me tell the story of their people.
His project, Journalists Matter, Faces of the Capitol Gazette.
Celine Sanfelice, she's a reporter at the Capitol newspaper. She was the first person I photographed for this project.
A photography portfolio that he hopes to show in a gallery.
The pen is mightier than the sword, so I had the idea to have her holding the pen like a sword and a notebook like a shield.
Journalists, survivors, loved ones.
And she was there the day that everything happened. it's been tough, you know, but we're all doing the best we can. So.
23 people.
Pat Ferguson, he covered the story.
Featured in Gillespie's folio. 1 year after the deadly attack inside the Annapolis newsroom.
We're just trying to tell, you know, true stories from our communities.
Each with a unique story.
Lauren Lumpkin, she started after the attack in June. Phil Davis was in the room with us when the attack happened. It's really a remarkable gift because it's very hard, you know, once we start. I mean, there's been some tears shed in this room here.
Intimate sessions.
The photo sessions start out, you know, light.
Closed door in Gillespie's basement studio.
And for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, we're just talking about things.
Just him and his subject.
And then like towards the end, a lot of times if I feel it's going that way, I might say, so what were you doing on June 28th? How did you feel that day? And that's when some of the most emotional pictures come out.
Including this one.
I don't feel like I'm an outsider trying to get people to tell these stories. Because I was in the room.
A longtime photographer at the Capital Gazette, a survivor of the massacre.
I just can't believe it's been a year. It's been a tough year.
In the same room he questions his subjects, we asked him what he was doing on June 28th.
And I was supposed to photograph the oath of office for the plebes coming to the Naval Academy that evening at 6. I was just looking in the archive at the pictures, and that's when the shooting started.
Gillespie dove under a coworker's desk.
I started thinking, oh my God, this really is happening. I can't believe that I'm going to die here under this desk like this. 3 of the people were right around my desk, so I thought I was next, but he kept going back towards the back of the room.
That's when Gillespie ran.
That's when I heard the shotgun go off again, and I felt a breeze blow past my right ear, and then I ran out the door.
The shooter took 5 lives and forever changed 6 others.
If I didn't run, I think he would have killed everybody in that room because he had blocked the back door. No one could get out the back door. That's heartbreaking, but it could have been much worse, I think. So it's a weird feeling.
A feeling that's weighed in the months that followed.
You get the survivor's guilt, you got the trauma of being involved.
Gillespie turned his source of pain.
I got out my studio lights and stuff and I set them up and I started thinking, who can I photograph?
Into the foundation for his healing.
I asked Celine and she agreed. And then I started thinking this could be, I think I want to photograph everybody.
Everybody, including those left behind.
And then there was the families, you know, that, like I said, gave me the greatest gift of coming to sit for my project. And this is Andrea Chambly. John McNamara was her husband, and John was killed that day. And she's been fighting to, like, you know, try to get gun violence to be a thing of the past, and she's working real hard at it. Which brings me to Wendy Winter's children, Phoenix Kallmyer, who's serving in the United States Navy now. And Summer Lee was the first one of the family members that I was actually able to photograph. And then there's Winters Kallmyer. She was wearing a lot of Wendy's clothes, and she had this picture of Wendy. And Wendy's life was so wild. Then I think the last picture that I've printed so far is Maria Hyacinth, Rob Hyacinth's wife. She's kissing Rob right here, about to kiss him with a giant smile on her face. And here Rob's gone and she's just heartbroken. And it just tells. That's what I'm trying to do, is let people know that these stories are, they're not just stories. They're people's lives. And they've all been changed forever. And not in a good way. You know, and it's very hard.
Gillespie has 3 more people to photograph.
And it's not just journalism that matters, it is the journalists that matter, because we're people. You know, we're your neighbors, we're your fathers, sons, daughters, you know, sisters, brothers. And we're just trying to do the best job we can and, you know, tell the truth.
He's shining a light on humanity, a light that overcomes even the darkest days.
I do think Baltimore is experiencing a crisis of violence. We are at record levels based upon our population. It's impacting so many people in the most intimate ways, where they're losing loved ones at very young ages.
That emotional toll.
They're living with trauma.
While top researchers like Dr. Daniel Webster sees a city in crisis, we found local leaders have done little to pass laws to address the problem.
We've over-relied upon law enforcement to address this problem.
The message on the street is there's no accountability, that you can carry a firearm, that you can use a firearm and shoot a person, commit a homicide or a non-fatal shooting or a carjacking or a robbery, and there is no consequence.
Jason Johnson used to be a deputy police commissioner in Baltimore. Baltimore City is on pace to see 300 murders for a 5th straight year. A trend in violence the city has not seen since the 1990s. Police suspect the majority of violence has been committed by people illegally carrying a handgun in the city.
We are talking about guns in the context of the streets of Baltimore that are being carried illegally, not lawfully carried firearms.
85% of the homicides committed in Baltimore since 2014 involved a victim who had been fatally shot. 85%. Under Maryland state law, possession of a handgun carries a maximum sentence of up to 3 years in jail. If convicted of using a handgun in a violent crime, the sentence is far more serious. It's a mandatory minimum of 5 years in jail. At the local level, there's a lack of laws that address handgun violence. It's a point Johnson wrote about in a recent op-ed.
There are a lot of non-substantive resolutions that just don't do anything.
I asked Council President Brandon Scott about the op-ed. Many of those comments seem directed at you.
Well, I think that, listen, anyone that knows and anyone that deals in the facts and reality knows that reducing violent crime has always been my top priority.
As evidence, Councilman Scott directed us to a piece of legislation he recently introduced. We wanted to know about the City Council as a whole, so we reviewed 20 years of legislation online. Out of the thousands of resolutions and ordinances passed over the years, we found 3 local laws City Council members passed that even mentioned handguns. The most recent, in its original form, would have required a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year if caught carrying a gun illegally in certain areas of the city. A stripped version of the measure actually passed.
They poison pilled the bill. They passed it, but it does not serve the intended purpose that it was intended to serve.
The measure passed by 1 vote, even though Scott and 6 of his colleagues opposed it. And based on what we found in the newly appointed council president's policy proposal, Scott still opposes the stricter gun legislation. I know you want to be mayor. There's no secret about that. You've been on council for 8 years. You were chair of the Public Safety Committee. Your critics might say that you've had an opportunity to curb crime, yet crime has continued to climb over the years.
What I would say is that, to that, Joy, is 2 things. Remember, the Baltimore City Police Department is a state agency. So anyone saying that the chair of public safety is going to be responsible for how the Baltimore Police Department performs doesn't know government and doesn't need to be talking about politics in Baltimore City, let alone running for office.
Well, I think they mean that members of council could do more in passing local legislation,
right, but
rather
you have to
than
remember,
pointing the finger at the police department.
No one has ever pointed fingers at the police department. It's about accountability. No one is blaming it. It's about having the right people in leadership. And that's why we're always focused on putting forth our plan of a better vision forward for Baltimore, a better path forward for Baltimore that includes reducing violent crime by smartly attacking those who we need to attack, building a better police department, and making sure that we have safe and strong and equitable neighborhoods.
But why hasn't that happened yet?
Well, listen, the police department responds to one person in Baltimore City, and that's the mayor of Baltimore City. I'm not mayor, so they don't have to do what I say.
If you talk to anyone in Baltimore, anyone either that lives in Baltimore, works in Baltimore, owns a business in Baltimore, invests in Baltimore, the top of their mind is crime. And that doesn't seem to be the biggest priority for the city council.
As of November 1st, 285 people have been murdered in Baltimore City. Almost all were shot. It's a level of violence Baltimore City residents have lived with for nearly half a decade now.
The point is there's no one singular solution that is going to fix the challenges of crime in Baltimore. There are a lot of things. But one thing that is important is to reduce or eliminate the number of people illegally carrying firearms on the streets of the city.
Johnson says while local lawmakers have had an opportunity to do that, they haven't.